Holy balls, everybody! It's Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I'm Greg Miller, Glen Egan, Matt Kraemer, Sanzaru Games. Colin was giving me a lot of trouble because I've been saying Zanzaru lately.
Yeah, I heard that a little in the preview.
Yeah,
but well educated.
You know, you shouldn't make up words. You should stick to real words. Sorry. All right, good. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the next 2 hours live streaming Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, the game these two men made all by themselves. No help from Ninja XYZ. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
You've brought plenty of goodies. We have Sanzaru shirts, cups, more shirts, and then cream of the crop, Sly collection, and copies of Thieves in Time. We will be giving them away throughout the show. You want one too?
Wow. This is the first time we've actually seen
the box?
The physical.
Look how good it looks.
Yeah.
And it's got the cross-buy on there. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Sly Cooper. You buy it once on the PS3, you get the Vita version for free. You cloud save back and forth. You pick up where you left off.
Yep.
Great idea. More games should do it, right, Madden? Guys, let's jump right into the game. What are we going to be seeing here? What are we doing for 2 hours?
Some Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. First, we're gonna start off here and we'll watch the. I'm saving. Oh my God, the icon looks amazing. But we're gonna watch a little bit of a backstory. Oh. You know, the game takes place a little bit after Sly 3, so we'll be watching a little cartoon story to fill in the gaps from the last game.
Awesome. We'll be quiet during that. While this is happening, start tweeting questions for Glenn, for Matt, for Sly Cooper in general. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Every so often, we'll pick a winner to win the games, win a prize pack of shirts and cups. Let's see the story. Man, you suck at collecting bottles.
These numbers will increase as I am playing.
As the game goes on.
I'm guaranteeing that those numbers will increase. I'm not sure about the one over on the right. I may have a little.
Greg's going to be after.
I'm after. The trophies number is the one I'll be quiet.
I should probably just start at the beginning. The name's Sly. Sly Cooper, and I'm a thief. From a long line of thieves. In fact, thieving is the family business. And business was good. Although, until recently, I considered myself retired. Having hung up my mask and cane, I was enjoying life on the other side of the law. In the company of a certain lovely Interpol agent named Carmelita Fox. She and I had a history, which generally involved her trying to lock me up. So, I should mention our current situation was only possible because she thought I had amnesia. I didn't. It was great to finally enjoy each other's company without a shock pistol being involved, and we quickly put the past behind us. But as time went on, the old itch came back, and I knew I needed to pull a heist. I should also mention that as a master thief, I only steal from other thieves. So it took me a while, but I finally found what I was looking for. My target was an upstart art mogul, a real hotshot collector. He seemed respectable, had even opened a new museum. But I could smell a rat. Reliable sources told me he was dealing in black market antiques worth millions. So I felt he should share the wealth. I was working on a plan when one night, as if on cue, Bentley showed up. Bentley was the brains of our operation, the mastermind. We grew up in the same orphanage where we bonded over stealing cookies, our very first heist, and we've been best friends and partners ever since. We hadn't seen each other for a while, but I knew immediately that something was up. Bentley had been enjoying his time off too, building a new lab from scratch with his girlfriend and fellow tech whiz, Penelope. She had joined the team on our last caper, and the two of them had really hit it off. Apparently, they just finished work on a top-secret project when Penelope had simply vanished. Bentley was worried sick. He searched frantically but found nothing. Then, he noticed something that completely stunned him. In his spare time, Bentley had been researching the Thievius Raccoonus, the Master Thief's handbook passed down through the Cooper family for generations. Its pages overflowing with the exploits and secret techniques of my esteemed ancestors. Only now, those pages weren't so full. In fact, they were disappearing right before Bentley's eyes. Realizing there was no time to waste, he gathered his gear and raced off to Paris. The first thing Bentley did was track down Murray, the third in our trio. Murray was our enforcer, the muscle, and the guy who'd eaten all the cookies we stole back in our orphanage days. Through the years, the three of us had become an unbeatable team, and we were more like a family now than a gang. Murray had been living his dream on the pro driving circuit, where his van had become famous, or rather, infamous, for all the crashes he'd caused. Eventually, he was unable to find a sponsor due to his high insurance premiums, and he moved into Demolition Derby, where he remained undefeated. When Bentley showed up, however, Murray dropped everything to help out. Especially when Bentley explained that his van was the key to the whole plan. With Carmelita distracted by a new assignment, I took the opportunity to slip away and met up with the guys at our old Paris hideout. Bentley launched into one of his elaborate presentations, and I saw the whole scary picture. Someone, or something, was literally erasing Cooper history. Then, to our amazement, Bentley revealed that he already had the solution: time travel. It turns out his top secret project was constructing a time machine. And now he modified the design to fit into Murray's van. We were going to travel back in time, stop those responsible, and fix the damage they'd done. Bentley explained the only catch was that in order to travel to a particular time, the machine required an object from that era. We knew from the changes to the Thieves Raccoonus that our first stop was feudal Japan. So here we were, about to steal a priceless 17th century samurai dagger from the same museum I'd been casing. Funny how things work out sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's completely optional. You know, it's pretty lengthy cartoon, but
sure.
You know, some people haven't played the the old games, and it gets everybody up to
well,
speed.
And that's a big part for you guys. You know, it's Slice back. This is his first PS3 game. It's his first game in a while, and of course, you guys are picking up from where Sucker Punch, who created Sly, left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really want to make sure that people that hadn't, been sort of engrossed in a story, the way we have for the last few years.
Yeah, right. Not everyone's poring over design docs and seeing Bentley every day.
Yeah, just get them back all on the same page. Because those things are gonna keep on coming back as you play in the game.
Oh, sure.
And learning more and more about the Cooper clan and their history.
So we have our first question from Twitter. Remember, of course, to be part of the show, tweet at IGN, #SlyCooper for your chance to get your question read and win some fabulous prizes, including the game. Our first question comes from Nick the Game, Triple H1. Long name, Nick. What kind of new freedoms did you have when making a Sly Cooper game on PS3? It's an interesting question, right? I mean, you guys had, of course, done the Sly collection.
Yeah.
You'd help port those games over, but then coming in, finally getting to make your own thing, make your own story. Did you feel that you had to be super, within the lines of what the old Sly games were, or could you branch out and do your own thing?
Well, I think that we're big fans of the Sly series anyway, so it wasn't like we were just all of a sudden going to, head off into left field. And,
Red Raccoon, all right.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I mean, and so that I don't think was this oh, can somebody tell us the box we have to live in?
Yeah.
That wasn't really the approach. The approach was, hey, how do we want to continue? This cool story, this cool franchise.
Right.
And then just with the PS3 itself, you got a lot more room. It's a much cooler, bigger device than the PlayStation 2.
Sure.
So we had a lot more space to deal with, but it was very, very important for us to make sure that we were maintaining the density of the gameplay. We didn't want to create just these big, giant, empty spaces where you didn't do anything and stuff like that. Sly's all about traversal and looking for lines and finding your way up to different places.
The other thing is the expectation. It's a franchise that everybody loves. People have wanted, another Sly Cooper for a really long time. It's been 7+ years. So one of the big things was that expectation. We don't want an Indiana Jones Crystal Skull.
No, you do not.
I don't want aliens in my Indiana Jones. So and that was really important to us. We need to stay in the tone of the franchise in terms of the writing, and then how the characters feel and the types of gameplays that people would expect. But you know, being on the PlayStation 3, there's also an expectation. Like you said, it's the first time it's going to be on that particular platform, so there's expectations.
So, I mean, was your mantra coming in pretty much like, if it isn't broke, don't fix it? Because I got to play through this in preview a couple weeks ago, and what stood out to me was the fact that it feels like Sly Cooper, right? Like I'm sure you could have gone and done these crazy three-dimensional.
That is absolutely the best thing anybody could say. You know, we brought it to E3, and you know, in 2011, and people had played it for the first time, and they're like, you know, this feels like Sly Cooper. This is the Sly Cooper I remember. This is what I would expect it to be. And from a developer that was given the chance to make such a fantastic franchise, that's the best thing we could hear.
Of course.
So.
Right now, Star-Lord tweets in, Star-Lord15 actually. He tweets at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, just like you can. Get your question on there, maybe win something eventually. How much input did the original developer Sucker Punch have? Did you guys use them as a resource to make it feel like a Sly Cooper? Or is this the Sly Cooper game you guys always wanted to make?
Well, Sucker Punch, well, if we go back to the original kind of way that we got into making it, you know, this is something that we looked at and thought, hey, you know, this is a great game that we want to play. And so we approached Sony and we put together a demo and said, hey, we see Sucker Punch really busy with Infamous. How about we make the next in the series? And so that led to working on the Sly Collection. And so that really kind of gave us them the confidence in us that we could actually make this game. Yeah. And from there, they sort of their approach was not to get really involved in it. Was not to get like on a micromanaged level, because they said, we want to see where you're going to take it, right? And we want to play it once you're done with that. So you know, at various times we do builds and things like that, but you know, it was more of a coming in and giving us good advice when we needed it, and critiques and stuff, and saying, hey, you know, well, this is a little weird here, and that's a little weird there, and things like that. So not a huge amount of oversight, but you know, obviously with the story as well, working together to make sure that we're on the path there.
Star-Lord15, that was a good question. For it, you win the Sly Collection on PlayStation 3, along with some fabulous Sanzaru prizes. We got shirts, we got cups. It's a random grab bag of whatever Eric on the social team gives you, but you get the game for sure. Sly Collection, some other stuff there. Let me just say, you know, 6 years here at IGN myself, you guys are one of my favorite stories. I just love the balls on you. You're like, they're not making it a Sly game, right? Not that I think. All right, let's make a demo. Let's make a demo and go to Sony and say, hey, can we do this?
And I mean, that's the thing, when we pitched the game, you know, it wasn't just a PowerPoint presentation or, you know, a documentation. We went in with a demo. And the demo was just Sly running around in a small space. And, you know, what does Sly Cooper look like on the PlayStation 3? How does he move? How does he feel? And then we picked a handful of contextual moves to work on. And then we showed that and kind of had an outline of the story and kind of where we wanted to take it. And, you know, that was it from there.
Okay. So, talking about what's actually on the screen right now, Matt, Sly's trying to break in, trying to get this time machine working by finding the sword.
Yep. So the time machine works through carbon dating. So every time they're going to go, yes, of course. But you know, every time period that they're going to go to, they need an item from that particular time period to travel there. So here we're breaking into this museum to get the item to travel to our first destination.
And here we're just doing a little detour to highlight one of the collectibles. I mean, there's tons and tons of collectibles you can get throughout the levels. But here we have the slime mask that I want to retrieve here while this helicopter doesn't bust me. Would I like to go to the unlockables menu?
Now, these unlock some really cool things. And we have a bunch of different metagame of collectibles in the game. You know, the clue bottles are back. You know, those weren't in 3.
Come on!
And, you know, we have the Sly mask, we have the treasure. Now, all of those things have their own metagame structure where they're going to unlock some cool things. It's not like you're just collecting 10 of these things to get a trophy or whatnot. They're all going to unlock some pretty neat little surprises.
So, a question I always have is, you know, we've been talking about everything you're putting in there, all these collectibles, all the masks, all the bottles, all the trophies. At what part of the game do you worry about that? Is that something that's happening organically while you're making levels, or is that something you make the level and then go back and try to figure out, like, hiding places?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. You know, originally we only had the bottles and the treasures. I really like the treasures from the old game, but the problem was when you bring them back to your hideout, they were just gone. You never got to look at them or take a look at the story of what that particular item was. So now when you bring back the treasures, you bring them back, you'll get to look at them in this cool little shelf that you have in your hideout, and each of them have their own little story. And then collecting all of those unlocks something else in the hideout. And we'll take a look at the hideout when we get to our first destination.
Well, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for 2 hours. Plenty of time to see plenty of things.
Okay.
Much greatness, and I'm about to code a hacking masterpiece.
Now we're going to switch over to Bentley, the brains of the gang. And
the first time I was in these sewers, I was just a teenager. I do the stand-in Bentley voice.
Okay, it's pretty good. Well, I don't know, Sly.
Oh, that's even better.
I'm not far from your office. I will gladly come down.
Glen does the Carmelita, which is,
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, isn't it good?
So now, for people who haven't been following you, do get to play as the whole crew once again. You get the Murray in there, you get the Bentley, obviously, the hover wheelchair, which I love.
Yep.
You can talk. We're a very low-budget show. It's louder for them watching at home, but you want the TV turned up too?
Yeah, if we can get the brightness on this guy.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
We'll have our tech guys come in. I pay people to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, but you got Sly, Bentley, Murray, and then you'll have the ancestor that you meet from that particular time period. And also for the first time, you'll have Carmelita. So once she kind of meets up with the gang, I'm not going to tell you how that happens.
Okay.
But she does become a playable character with the gang. You can take her out at any time and play with just Carmelita.
Great. Now, we have another question here, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be part of the show, if you'd like to try to win a copy of the Sly Collection and or Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, you have to tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Now, if you want to hear about somebody desperately trying to get on your good side, this question comes from Zanzaru Rocks on Twitter.
Oh boy,
the gaming scene has changed since the PS2 days. How has Sly adapted to the overall changes of the gaming scene? Like, what are some of the things you guys had to change or I guess bring in? Because it does feel very much like I already said, a Sly game, right? Like you're double jumping, hitting circle to interact and land on things and run on the blue lines and everything else. What are some of the other things you had to worry about?
It's definitely a larger game. The hubs are much bigger. With games like Assassin's Creed and games, like Arkham Asylum that just have that large environment to traverse, we need to follow suit. So a lot of the environments that you see will be, about the same size of what you would have played from those games.
Gotcha. Cool. So. Also, for me, when I was doing the preview, when I got here to the Bentley stuff, this is like when it really started to speak to me. I thought of how good your animations were.
Our animators rock.
The way he spins, it looks so smooth. And I know this is nerdy video game stuff, but if you didn't know you're watching IGN, we're a nerdy video game people. But the way he spins, the way he jumps and hovers and stuff, like I was just like, this is top notch.
Yeah, we have some great animators, and just overall, at Sanzaro, we just have a great team, and that's another thing that we're really lucky to have is just such a great team that likes what they're working on. Working in the video game business, sometimes you have to work on things you don't necessarily like. And, we really have the luxury here to work on a franchise and the type of game that I enjoy playing, that the team enjoys playing, and we just really love the franchise. So everybody that works on the game, the animators, the programmers, they really all bring that love to the table, and you're always going to get your best work when you're doing something that you enjoy that much. So the animators will like that.
Yes.
Yeah, clip that out.
We got the map.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is another new feature. We had added the map, which they don't have a map in the older games, and a lot of it just comes from the sheer size of the space that you're moving around. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you're building bigger spaces, it's no fun being lost. We want to make sure that people understand where it is they're heading, and let's just get you to the action and have fun with it.
Obviously, we're playing on PlayStation 3.
Break the lights.
Another thing that I tried out, and I was like, oh yeah, they thought everything.
Yeah, and the lighting changes.
Well, I like that. Like that is totally a nerdy techie video game part of it. But yeah, I was smashing everything I could trying to get all these points. Of course, you didn't include trophies on this build, so I couldn't see anything.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Thanks.
Soon.
All right, good. It's about time. One of the things you're talking about bringing it to the PlayStation 3. What about bringing it to the Vita? I mean, was that always the plan, or did Sony at some point, did Shuhei Yoshida come knock on the door one day and be like, hey guys, what's up?
The game. I mean, we started as a PlayStation 3 game. We got really far, developing it, and then we had the proposal to do the Vita version. So, and then we crammed everything into the Vita. So your experience that you're going to have on the PlayStation 3 is it's the same game. It's the same game. It's the same fidelity of animations, everything else that you're going to see on the PlayStation 3.
Love these mini games, by the way. So was that intimidating? I mean, is it? I mean,
for the programmers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean,
not for me.
It's one of those things when we talk about on Podcast Beyond, of course, available right now on iTunes, or any other IGN video series or something. For us, for us as players and stuff who don't understand the technical aspects, it seems so easy. We'll just port it over.
It's not. It's tough. But, and then you got to think of the control scheme and everything else. But I love the Vita. I think the Vita has so much potential, and what we've done here, I hope other people can look at, because there's very few games that live up to graphical standards of what you'll see from Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I mean, Assassin's Creed Liberation, I think, looks fantastic on the Vita, and Uncharted, looks great. So hopefully we'll get more games of that level.
Sure. Let's go to Twitter. Remember, be part of the show. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Maybe win some fabulous prizes. Remember, not guaranteed to win. I will call out your name if you win. Say you won something. Don't tweet at me in 3 days and try to pull the wool over my eyes and say you won something. I'll know. All right, here we go. Okay. BardaPack44 says, first tweet. Big fan of Sly series. How big are the worlds going to be in Sly 4 compared to Sly 3? You said they're bigger. You said that you're trying to
double.
Double?
Yeah, I'd say if you're comparing it to Sly 2 or Sly 3, I'd say double the size. Okay. You thought it was hard trying to find the bottles in the old games. We have the same 30 bottles back, but the environments are much larger and a lot more dense. So,
is one of the unlockables eventually a bottle finder? Bottle radar? Bottle sense? Seems like something Bentley would come up with.
I'm surprised we haven't had a clockwork question yet. That's usually our first. Yeah, it's early. That's usually our first
Lots
one.
of stuff here for 2 hours.
How many ancestors are in the game, and is clockwork back?
We have an ancestors question. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
The Big Red Giant tweets at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. What influenced you to choose the ancestors that you did from the long list of Coopers?
That is a very good question.
Good job.
We had a dartboard.
No. We just tried to vary it up as much as possible. We haven't unveiled all the ancestors yet.
But you're going to do it right here.
Yeah, we're going to do it right now. In the we just picked ones we thought would be the most fun to play, and also had the most contrast between each other.
That's a big part of it, right? Because when you're going through time, you're learning a new thing and you're getting a new outfit.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So
that was probably the worst description I could have given you of what's going to happen. You're learning a new thing. You put it on the back of the box. You're learning a new thing, getting a new outfit. That's what everybody wants out of games these days.
But yeah, we just picked the ones that had the most contrast and also personalities too. Every ancestor you meet, they have their own personality, and some of them may not necessarily clash. It clashes a little bit with the gang, and then you meet another one that's really likable. So it's really fun playing up those different personalities and gameplay styles.
Okay. BardaPack44, for your first tweet ever, you are going to win a copy of the Sly collection. Congratulations. Woo-hoo. Also some fabulous prizes that Eric will put in the box with you. Not with you, with the game. You know what I mean. You are not in a box, clearly. You are safe to be in. Right now, playing as Murray. Murray's back. What are Murray's abilities here?
Well, I really like to stomp and grab these rats and then use the one rat to beat the snot out the other rat. Oh damn, I missed him.
Showing you up.
And you got the thunder flop. And so at the start of the game, when you're playing as each new character, you'll see you have all the help text that comes out. Sometimes that stuff's kind of annoying. It takes up most of the screen and you don't want it all the time. That stuff will just display the first couple times, and then it's gone.
Just to give you the hang of it. Yeah.
Just to give you the hang of it. If you want it back, you can pause the game and bring it up again. And then we also have help, so you could go through and see all the moves too.
I was happy to see you kept health, not just one-hit kills. I got to find a horseshoe. I was like,
No more horseshoes. I always liked Sly 1 though. I mean, and that's something we looked at in Sly 1 was really the boss battles. Which we talked about in the past at E3 and so forth. Just the pattern-based boss battles, and I was really happy when we showed the El Jefe fight, just the reaction we got. People were on board with us. They're like, we love those boss battles too, I want more of them. So
was that a concern for you? I mean, that's something I talk about in the preview, right? Is that Sly feels like Sly, but of course Sly was the PlayStation 2 that was years ago. Maybe for somebody whose first system is this, they don't know.
Yeah, it always is. And, you know, like I said before, coming here and having people say, oh, this feels like it, this is exactly what I want out of you know, Sly Cooper is a good thing to hear. You know, for me, the PlayStation 2 era, early 2000 or whatever, that is really the golden age of the PlayStation brand. You know, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter,
Oni.
You know, Sly Cooper. You know, all Oni.
I was waiting. Oni was terrible, if you don't remember.
And but you know, there's just some great games from that era, and when you talk to people about the PlayStation catalog, it's always around that time. You know, granted, PS1, you had the, you know, Spyro's, the MGS, and some other great games, but, you know, that era is important, and it's somewhat tapered off. So to bring these games back, and, you know, the previews and everything has been really positive, is just great. You know, it's nice to see that people want to play these games again. And if you want more of these kind of games, you know, pick up Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, because, you know,
vote with your dollars, as we always say on Podcast Beyond. Support developers.
Was that a good commercial? That's like an infomercial.
No, see, that was an honest one. That's not the usual. That's not the usual. If you get out here trying to sell your product, what's going on?
It's the steal it button.
Oh, okay. There he goes. And his calling card.
What the?
Really think you were gonna get away with
Wow. X.
Hey,
As if we knew what we were doing, we have a question about Carmelita.
Oh boy, how did I know this was coming?
At ebackthecat tweets at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. He says, I noticed that Carmelita has a new voice actor. Was this an intentional joke because she never has the same VO twice?
What? This joke has been going on forever. But you know, I'll tell you something. What we do with the VO in general, is you know, we get a bunch of actors. We write a couple lines for them to read through, and you know, I put them in a bunch of folders. I delete the actor's name because we don't want, and then we send it out to a bunch of people on the team, and then we have an Excel sheet where everyone rates. I like number 1. I like number 2. I like whatever. And
then we throw that away.
No.
Then we go inside.
And then we have a dartboard.
and you know, that so that ensures that we can pick the quality, you know, voice actor for the particular job. It's not like, oh, you know, this actress was on CSI or whatever else. I really like them. Let's pick them. So you know, we just pick on quality. It wasn't intentional to get a new VO actor, but I think the actress that we have now will probably stay for good. She's pretty good.
So did you make Sly audition for his part again too? Did you make Sly audition for his part again too?
Those guys are good to go. Those guys are good to go. And
this is one of my favorite little nods you have here.
What nod would that be, Greg?
The time machine disappearing, fire trail, and the license plate spinning. Just such a, and like this is a great open, by the way. Man, I sound like a nerd. But I mean, it's just such a great, you know, I mean, a great introduction to the actual game and kind of give the epic feel to what's happening.
That is a good segue into the next thing, which is we do have another demo that is coming out in January, and you'll be able to play through what we just played through here. So the demo will be the Paris prologue intro.
Great. Well, we just spoiled everything for you. Thank you for watching.
But you get to feel, you get to pick up the controller and feel.
Well, of course, they could feel it right now if they went out and bought the Sly collection, or if they tweeted at IGN hashtag Sly Cooper for their chance to win the Sly collection and/or Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Hey guys, when does Sly Cooper Thieves in Time come out? If people wanted to buy it, like with their money and stuff.
With their money, February the 5th.
February the 5th, right around the corner.
Yep.
2013, big year.
Big year.
Big first half of the year too. Not even first half, first 3 months. First 2 months,
big
first
quarter.
month.
Yeah.
Are you excited to be part of that, or is it one of those things where you're like, oh god?
We can't wait for people to have the game in their hands. You know, it's been something that we've been working on for a long time, and we really love, and we really put our heart and soul into. And we just can't wait for people to be able to pick up and play it.
Yeah.
That's the greatest validation for us, is seeing it out there and people enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, just being here, I mean, from that initial pitch to, you know, being where we are now, it's just been a true honor, and, you know, to have people play the game and they enjoy it, and it feels like Sly Cooper, and it's what they'd expect on the PlayStation 3. It's just great.
Okay. Let's go back to Twitter. Remember, be part of the show. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Let's see what we got here. Oh, here, since you asked for it, you called it out. At @res_AWR. Are there any prominent references or appearances of Clockwork, as he was a big part of Sly's ancestor lore?
That would be a good thing.
Oh, would it now?
I'll say, we follow the continuity of the games to a T. So if there's things that have happened or been referenced in older games, we don't forget about that.
Whose job was that to go in the studio to play through them all and write everything down?
I think we played through them a million times in this.
Oh, in the Sly collection, available at retailers everywhere.
We know them inside and out. So, but we follow the continuity. Like I said before, I don't want a crystal skull. You want, the continuity, the characters, the things they've done, their personalities, what they've been through. You want to have that resonate and be brought back to Thieves in Time. So.
Was actually the inventor of sushi.
Loving his new crystal skull.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, is that a good one?
Wringing his hat somewhere. This is what I get for watching IGN.
He was just about to pen Sly Cooper live action. I don't think so.
No, of course, I mean an infamous live action movie.
So with the ancestors, this is really the first time that you get to see, Ryuichi Cooper. Mm-hmm. And in the old games, there's not that much artwork or physical illustrated images of these guys. There's a couple small ones and some cutscenes here and there, and at the end of Sly 3. So we've had a lot of comments where people see them in the game and they're like, oh, he doesn't look exactly like, we go through a lot of iterations of models and stuff and feedback, and we let everybody look at it. So they really just evolve. We take that imagery. And we use it as much as possible, but
love that you kept the episodes, by the way.
The characters evolve when they get to the full game.
So now this is our first look at the hideout, pretty much, right? We're at ThiefNet now, one of the places to go in, upgrade your character.
One of the cool things I like about the menus is it's not like when you go in a menu, everything's gone in the back. Mm-hmm. You can still see Sly sitting there. It's just like your Bentley looking at the screen, and we did a lot of the UI in that manner. I'd buy the paraglider.
You think I should go for the paraglider?
That's what I got right away, too.
Yeah.
Buy the paraglider. Hey, and look, there's Alter Ego Bentley. So let's take a little tour of the hideout. Our costumes.
So as you unlock your ancestors' costumes, they go there?
You unlock costumes that you find in the episode, and then every way that you collect the costume is always different. So in Japan, you're pickpocketing the suit of armor, and then you get the whole suit of armor. You can use it to break out Ryuichi. But this is cool. So you can play ping pong anytime you want. You can play this single player. You can play this 2-player. Originally, this is funny, this was not going to be playable.
Oh yeah.
This was just here. And we had Nate and Brian came down from Sucker Punch for showing them some stuff. And Nate's like, that'd be great if you could play ping pong. I'm like, damn it. Now we got to do it. So yeah, you can play ping pong.
This seems like meeting your girlfriend's parents. Like, will that down Nate Fox? Oh, what are we going to do?
And then actually, if you go back to the left, there is an arcade that Murray's working on over there.
So eventually that'll be up and running.
Maybe. If you click on it, there's this cool little sound effect too. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'd be cool if it unlocked.
3 games in 1, ladies and gentlemen.
I like that. Or maybe if every episode had their own mini game arcade or something.
Oh, so many games in 1. And then what do we have here?
So this is the treasure collection. So every time you bring a treasure back, you'll be able to see it on the shelf. You can click on it. You can read the description, the title, and so forth.
Gotcha. At Shane O'Neill tweets at IGN, #SlyCooper, just like you can, for your chance to be on the show, maybe win some stuff. Shane says, is the game going to have a lot of great movie references throughout it, a la the Back to the Future one we just saw?
There is a lot of pop culture references,
Yeah.
We had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, which I was ecstatic that people even got it when we did the preview. And then, we have the Back to the Future one. So yeah, there is a lot more of those little pop culture references. And there'll also be some, little surprises from other PlayStation franchises, maybe a couple little things. Nice. So I don't want to spoil everything, but
no. It's just the first 2 hours. We don't want to spoil everything, just the first 2 hours of the entire game.
Yeah, there's cool little pop culture stuff.
Okay. Okay. Right here we have Technology Dude 7 tweeting at IGN,
Oh, but this is going to be a smart question.
Did you guys add any new gadgets / bring back any old ones? We just, you just bought the glider we heard about.
Definitely old gadgets, definitely new gadgets. So yeah, again, we're looking to stay grounded to the way that the things that people liked, and then also bring them new experiences as well. So yeah, it kind of just flows with the gameplay.
So now, for ladies and gentlemen just joining us, Matt, where are we right now?
We are in feudal Japan, and we need to do a little reconnaissance mission to find out what's going on here.
You're gonna collect some bottles. Collect some logos.
En route. But I mean, that sort of speaks to the different ways that you can play the game. You can go in here into this hub world. You can follow the story. You can go and do the treasure challenges, run around in the hub and find the treasures, bring them back. Leading to various cool unlocks that we'll bring more details on later. You can go. You can be out hunting for the bottles. And yeah, or you can just go and pickpocket everybody and see all the cool loot you can bring back to ThiefNet and all the stuff.
There may
you
be
can
a
unlock
trophy
in there.
for that.
That would be good.
Because that's what I did for a while in that preview. I just walked around.
That's the thing I like about Sly in general, or just any game, is the bombardment of gameplay options. If you want to go just cruise through the game and get to the end and just enjoy the story and go through that, that's fine. You could play it that way. If you want to go through a mission or two and then stop and collect a couple bottles, that's fine. There's always options. There's always gameplay options. Or maybe you get to a boss that's really difficult. Well, it's not like there's nothing else to do. You're just stuck into this bottleneck. There's options of gameplay. So,
a smorgasbord of things to do.
Smorgasbord.
Shane O'Neill, you asked the question about Back to the Future. You just won yourself a copy of the Sly collection, along with some sweet swag. So enjoy that when it gets sent to you. Let's see what else we got here.
Missed one.
Now, there's been questions about Clockwork and things along those lines. Razman86 tweets at IGN, #SlyCooper, and says, seeing as the game is based on going back in time to help the thieves, will we be visiting any key locations from past Sly Cooper games?
That's a good question.
Well, I like how you're thinking on your answer. Well, that's a good question. Then. Good job, Razman.
I think that Paris, features strongly in all in the sort of Sly Cooper kind of lore. He's a dashing, suave criminal. but yeah, and so that's definitely there. I think there's several references. But yeah, I think that's one of those things we're gonna have to
let the player find out.
Yes.
Yeah, you
exactly.
don't want to spoil too much.
So now we've talked about the fact that it's cross-buy, so same game on PlayStation 3 versus the Vita. But right there, you were using binoculars, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe when I've played on the Vita for certain things, I'm using the gyroscopes. They say to actually use binoculars. Would I be doing that here?
Yeah, I mean,
you could
the idea was when we moved things over onto the Vita, if it made sense and it was fun, then we'd implement it. And that was one of those areas where we're like, hey, this is kind of cool if I do this. It's kind of a nifty experience.
An arrow bucket, that's kind of cool.
If only I had a.
I wish I had an archer costume.
There's that Metroidvania gameplay you like so much. Come back, use it with things you'll get later in the game.
Yeah, so and that's just kind of our approach to it. It wasn't this sort of like, okay, we've got to demo features of the Vita with the where they're fun and they're cool and they add to the experience. Then we put them in. It's like the Spark Runner mini game, and it was really cool to play it with the tilt controls. And so we put that in. Then a couple of things we tried and we're like, it's just not that much fun to do it this way. So. We kind of skip it. So if it's fun, we'll do it.
Is it? And this, I know now we're getting nitty gritty. Is it mandatory that way, or are you giving the player the choice to play?
It's an option.
It's an option. Oh, wait. That's what I was thinking. Razman86, I have some exciting news for you. You are the first person to win Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, the new game, not that old collection that you should run out and buy or win.
And play for the next month.
Yeah, exactly. Now keep in mind, Razman, we don't have the copies yet. They're coming. These guys promise they're going to finish the game any day now and send it to us.
We signed in blood.
It's actually weird. I haven't played this in a while.
Oh yeah.
We've been done with the game for a while, so it's kind of new to me too. Sure. I haven't played it in a little bit.
Well, I mean, you guys, I understand. You finished this game. You moved on to your next project, which was.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
We'll get it out of him, don't worry. Sure, it's a PSP game. What else we got here? Question. Okay, here we go. Smashman4 says, what are the plans for game post-release? Is there going to be any kind of DLC, or you guys, is this kind of a self-contained experience?
Well, we have, a demo coming out in January, which I mentioned, which will be the intro Paris stuff that we had played through. And I think that's out in January.
That's correct. You said that.
Yeah. Maybe something else. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be very good.
Do you guys want more Sly Cooper? I don't know.
According to IGN readers and viewers, yes, you do.
I'll say maybe there will be a surprise.
Okay. That's a good. I like that.
Look at that. My numbers are increasing.
Yeah, no thanks to you. I noticed the numbers started going up when you stopped playing.
You have the camera inverted, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you play
like that?
No, I don't. I thought you inverted it.
No, we need to change that.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. Yeah. On the original, they didn't have that, but we added it for collection.
Yeah.
Because it's always kind of...
You gotta take care of those inverted people with their weirdness.
My upside down.
So you can go and you can replay any job, too.
Key to getting all the trophies, I'd imagine. Going back, getting bottles, doing things along those lines.
Yeah. I think that the bottle collection stuff is just, again, part of how you just flow through the hub. You know, you can you don't necessarily have to be doing a mission to be able to go and do that. We just give you the option. You want to do that, you want to do this, totally up to you.
Gotcha. So we were talking about the fact that people want more Sly. Of course, people are super excited for Thieves in Time, which I don't think I was fully prepared to understand. Like, I love Sly Cooper. I was very excited to hear about a new Sly Cooper. But right now, if you go to IGN.com, you look at the page, top upcoming game, most anticipated game on IGN.com right now, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. That's crazy talk. Were you expecting that when you guys started making the game?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, right? I mean, obviously, you guys were big enough fans to go make a rogue demo, and try to steal.
Rogue demo, I like that.
But that's gotta. I mean, wow, that's awesome that it's still got that following. Right?
It really is. Like I said, that's the golden age of the PlayStation brand. I want to see more of those characters. I want to experience more of those, kind of games. So, yeah, it's amazing to have it up there.
Is that more pressure for you? I mean, the game's done, obviously, now you just got to live with what you did.
This was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Just, making a game that has this kind of following and,
All right, we have another question here. Remember to be part of the show, tweet at IGN, #SlyCooper. This one comes from ZeroCalcium0. And we've talked a bit about right now as far as tilting the Vita, using the camera on the Vita, the gyroscopes and the whatnots. Calcium0, he asks, what sort of touch controls, if any, are you going to incorporate on the Vita? Is there for Bentley's game, are you tracing or drawing or anything? Or
there's some tilt motion and there's some options. A lot of times I don't necessarily like a game that forces you to play it in that particular manner. Like Glenn mentioned before, if it fits for the game, we'll use it, but there'll always be the option there to play either way.
Play traditional.
Play traditional. So here we've gained enough data, and now we're going to break into this prison to break out Ryuichi, but we can't just go in through the front door, so we're going to have to run around and collect some armor to get our first disguise.
Now, you were talking about this being different. This is different for every costume as far as how you get it?
Yeah, so like here we're pickpocketing, we're collecting the suit of armor, and then we're going to use the suit of armor to break into the prison to get Ryuichi. And this is the second job in the game. That does not necessarily mean that in the next episode it'll be the second job. You get the armor, nor the fashion you get it. It is always going to be different. And we try to mix it up that way. And that's the same with meeting the ancestors too. You're not always going to meet them right off the bat. You may meet them later in the episode. You may meet them at different times. So it's just we want to change that formula so it's just not so cookie cutter, and we always want surprises. And that also goes for the story. When we started this game, we're taking a franchise that has a lot of unanswered questions. People want to know what happened at the end of Sly 2. It was kind of like a little cliffhanger. So when we started this game, we had that in our back pocket. People want these answers. Well, we're not going to answer them all right away. And you have to play a little bit. And as you play, we'll give a new problem or a new situation comes up. And we won't resolve it right away. You'll have to play a little more. So it's like, I always look at like Pulp Fiction. It's like you love watching Pulp Fiction because you want to know what's in the suitcase. Yeah. You want to know what's in the suitcase. So we always kind of have these little tidbits of story information that keep you playing.
I love that you were able to compare Sly Cooper to Pulp Fiction.
All right, Crystal Skull, Pulp Fiction. What else do we got?
I wonder why there's
Rogue
so many
Demo.
movie references.
Rogue Demo. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it, we need some Star Wars.
Okay, so now at Joe _21 Bennett tweets at IGN hashtag Sly Cooper, just like you should be doing if you want to win a copy of the game, if you want to be part of the show. He asks, or she asks, will there be loads of missions for each hub, or will there be a few but long missions? Because you're talking about how hub worlds are bigger, you know, they're so big and there's bottles hidden everywhere and all these things are going on. And then, of course, you know, you jump in, Sly moves off to his little logo to start the mission at hand.
There's not a finite number for each episode. They're all different amounts of missions that you'll have. But I will say that the missions, you know, we're still on the same mission here, and this is going to continue into the prison. That's one job.
Yeah.
So looking at the old games, I would say they're much longer than the old games, and in terms of an exact number, they're all different per episode. Okay. So. The other thing we added, you saw like the chickens. I think there's some pigs up here too. We added these little critters that run around in each
now with more
hub.
chickens and pigs.
Another thing to put on the back of the box.
They're so much fun to see these little critters running around. You can get some extra coinage.
Joe Bennett, good news. You won a copy of the Sly collection. Congratulations. Sly 1, 2, and 3, some Sly minigames, lots of trophies, all coming your way. Remember, if you want to win stuff or have a chance to win stuff, tweet at IGN hashtag Sly Cooper with your questions for Glenn and Matt, the two guys who made the game all by themselves.
Oh,
See, actually, I don't think these are inspired by Matt's dog.
yeah,
The pigs?
Yeah.
the little pigs.
Yeah. That was, yeah, near and dear to Matt. And I have the honor.
At IvaJosh1 tweets, how long was the development cycle for Sly?
Well, I mean, the original pitch that we did was back at the end of 2008.
Okay.
And so then in 2009, that's where we were working on the collection. So that took a chunk of time, but we're also doing a whole bunch of pre-production for Sly Cooper Thieves in Time over that year. So yeah, really since beginning of 2009, around there, until the end of this year, just a couple of months ago.
Before you moved on to your next project.
Yeah, that. And so here we're going to see an example of a costume in action. And in the previous games, you had the ability to use them as a disguise, and that was really fun. What we could do with that here, because now whenever he walks in front of these guards, they all start saluting him and all that kind of stuff. And so he's going to play that to actually gain access here.
Gotcha.
You there, open the door. A little short to be a commander.
There's the Star Wars one. You knew it would come up eventually.
Why, I am Major Mugshot. Huh? Mugshot? I've
Former Sly Kid.
Yep.
You dare question me?
Again, I like
Son,
bringing
I've
those
been a guard
references.
since
You
you
know,
were
these
just a
characters have lived through those
squealing
games. They have
Wait
memories.
until
They
I
have,
tell the
you
general
know, you
about
really want to
this.
play off that. So, you know, it seems consistent, you know, from the first game all the way to the fourth game. So
Funny you should say that. At 07lol tweets at IGN hashtag Sly Cooper. I've not played Sly since the first one. How subtle are the references to the other games? Will I be missing anything?
no.
No.
But I mean, if you're a fan and you've played the other ones, you'll be like, oh man, that's cool.
Right,
Totally.
but you can pick up the story.
Yeah,
no problem.
yeah, totally.
Time is being erased. Fix it. Still 0 trophies. Not a fan of that, let me tell you. All right, you guys did really good with Sly.
We're gonna
collection.
get one soon.
All right, good. It's about time. Remember, what do you guys want to see for trophies? Tweet at IGN hashtag Sly Cooper. Let them know. We'll put it in this game. They will run back and recode
Well, we
the
do have a
trophies.
time machine.
Exactly, right? We'll get an artifact from 2009 when you guys pitched the game.
Yeah.
At Nate Palacio, he tweets, will this Sly Cooper follow a formula of collecting an artifact from the present, then heading back in time?
No.
Nothing formulaic about this one. Also, is that a tickle machine?
Yes.
Just making sure I saw that right. You guys are twisted. The slap and the kick of the button.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, like there is, kind of, a structure, but then we also sort of took this approach where we're like, hey, if it's fun, we'll do it. We won't be like, oh, you have to have 7 of those, and after you've collected the 7 of those, then no, we kind of play around with that, and we're just like, are you having fun? And that's going to drive everything.
I mean, that's the cool thing about like working on a game of, like Sly Cooper, is there is no formula. And, if you've seen the old games, the types of gameplay you're doing are always so varied. It's like, this is a stealth mission, then next you're driving an RC car, then next you're playing a hacking game.
Then there's like an arena battle system where things are coming in, you gotta protect something.
Yeah, there's just so many types of gameplay. As a developer looking at the old games, and we're going through, don't forget the mask over there.
Like playing with your little brother.
Go left, go left.
I love
no,
this.
I meant
I love
right.
This, by the way.
But it's a daunting task because it's a lot of work. It's not like if you're playing like a COD, like a Call of Duty game or whatever. Granted it looks amazing on screen, but generally you're just moving forward, shooting.
Right.
Whereas like a game like this, we have so many different types of gameplay all the time. So. Now this particular scene we're looking at here, so we have a situation where we have these boar guards and they're eating and we're going to sneak by them. This scene has been in the game almost the longest, I think.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because this was in one of our original demos. And it's always resonated and stuck around.
Why was this scene so important to make it that
I just
far?
thought it was kind of funny.
It really gives
and
that
stealthy.
Sly Cooper vibe of like, you know something they don't, you're kind of sneaking through, doing your thing, and while they're busy carrying on with their lives.
Yeah.
Like, you especially get that vibe when you're upstairs, on the rooftops, and you're making your way around. It's so cool to look down, on the guards and things like that, and you've got that. It's sort of empowering. You're like,
yeah. That's part of being, the stealthy guy, right? To be this thief.
Yeah, and this kind of vibe too here. Oh yes, I'm gonna, confidently march my way through here. Blah 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 blah.
So in the samurai costume, you can't jump. You're bounded to the ground, but you can walk through fire, and you can also deflect fireballs.
At Going Ape Escape. The Sly collection has always had some tough challenges, but will trophies send us on ridiculous quests just to get that gold trophy?
No, I mean there's a lot of
inspirational quests.
There's a lot of the trophies. There's some progressive ones. Like we'll get one here when we break out Ryoichi. But then there's
second too early.
But then there's also a lot of gameplay relative trophies. So an example would be stealth takedown, X number of guards in X amount of time without getting caught. So I like trophies like that because they're gameplay.
Right.
They're inherent gameplay, and they're going to get you to do something you normally wouldn't do.
See, that's it. For me, that's what I dig about trophies, is games that can put something in there to make me use a weapon I never would, or to play a certain way I never would, right?
Exactly. It'd be like level up every gun, in a Ratchet game.
Yeah.
You might not. You might just stick with one gun for the whole game, but then you're gonna.
That's your choice.
That's your
choice. Wrong way to play a Ratchet, by the way.
But yeah, I like those ones. I like the gameplay ones, and we have a handful of progressive ones, and then there's a couple metagame collection ones, and maybe some for some high scores or something else.
Now, of course, I was bugging you at lunch about this, just to confirm for everybody. One trophy list, so it's shared back, but
that is correct.
Between no double sound shapes. We're not getting crazy thing.
No.
Did you think about doing that? Because that would have been.
No, I think that's kind of annoying.
Of the game. What?
I mean, well, you got it once.
Yeah, and now I get double rewarded. I'm like, yes. Oh.
Always for the points, this one.
Yeah, no, I got to make sure I continue to stay in front of Colin Moriarty, which I am.
Oh, is that what it is? You guys have a battle?
Him and I go back and forth.
Of platinum. Yeah. So who's number one right now?
Now you're starting to talk like Colin Moriarty. The battle is who is the higher level, and I have the higher level.
I see.
Colin
What level are you at?
Than me. We're both level 22. 22. I'm 38% through level 22 at the moment.
Nice.
Colin is in the 20%.
I think I'm at 11.
Oh, come on, you guys, step it up.
I know.
Step your game up, as Marcus would say. Remember Marcus? PSP. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, good news. Going_Ape Escape wins the collection. You win the Sly collection. Thank you so much. Look for a direct message from IGN that we're doing. If you want your chance to win copies of the game, both the collection and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and some fabulous coffee mugs and t-shirts, tweet at IGN, Sly Cooper will read your question on the air. If I then say you win it, you win it. Don't you just because you got your question read doesn't mean you won it. Don't annoy me on my personal Twitter.
Don't forget
at GameOverGreggy.
To the right.
Follow me at GameOverGreggy. They're not going to put it on the screen, but trust me. At Thomas L20 tweets, how far back in time does Sly and the gang go back?
He kind of travels all over the place. I mean, it's not. I don't want to give anything away,
you don't want to tip it in,
but yeah, we kind of move through time, back and forth, forward, backwards, present, all over the place.
Now you're talking about if you're putting it in the game as long as it's fun. Did you worry about the actual perils of time travel, undoing history?
There is so many. The time travel aspect of the game in general can get extremely complicated and convoluted, and that's something we just didn't want to tackle. We try to keep it as simplistic as possible.
Yeah.
Another question we get a lot too is, what's the time difference between Sly 3 and this game? We never explicitly say how many years it's been or whatever. It's just, it's been a little bit after the third game, and we leave it at that. Because once you have that hard number, you're stuck to that hard number.
And that's not really what Sly's about, right? Like, I mean, watching and playing it always gives me that feeling, especially with the episodic stuff, right? It always gives me that feeling of, this is a cartoon I'm participating in. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't need to get bogged down in details. Because if I did, it would be really creepy that a guy pretends he is a different person to have a girlfriend for a long, long time. That's when it gets weird, Mr. Cooper. I can deal with all the stealing. Breaking Carmelita's heart. What are you doing? Here we go. Ancestor in peril. We need to get to it.
So Steve Bloom does the voice of Ryoichi, and he's just a really good voice actor. Did a great job on Ryo.
How does it work getting in the studio with these guys? Are you there coaching them as it goes, telling them a little bit more, a little bit less?
We get, myself or, someone from the team will go down and, they'll get the script a couple days before, and, we had Nolan North. He was awesome. Like, he came in, he had this, little hat on and a stogie, just like, El Jefe. He was, like, in character, and I'm like, oh my, he's already talking like him. And his son's name is Cooper.
Oh, yeah?
So he would be saying these lines like, I'll get you, Cooper. And it was great.
He's a consummate professional.
Yeah, he was cool.
Of course, Nathan Drake in Uncharted, and whoever the hell that guy was in Dark Void. At Lieutenant 0T tweets, will it be possible to swap characters on command at some point in the game as it progresses? Is it that we're always broken up into sections?
Yeah, you always have to go back to the hideout if you want somebody new.
Okay.
And then there's missions. The missions are paired to a character, so you can't. We couldn't take Murray out here.
Exactly. Yeah. How many costumes are there in the game? Or is there? Okay, I saw you did the smile right there. I'm not trying to pin you down. Just wondering.
There's a number, and that's another thing that's really fun since every episode is very contrasting. We mix up the formula. You don't know what ancestor you're going to meet. You don't know what kind of costume you're going to get, and that's always fun because it just creates this excitement of what's next. You just don't know what's next.
There it is. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Raccoon got into nice. I like it.
I think that got changed to Family Matters.
On the final version?
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go.
There's a little tidbit.
Let's put it on the wiki, everybody. Go to IGN. There you go.
I think we changed it to some Urkel reference there.
Now, this is, we've talked over it here, but this was a fun conversation for me as a player when, he actually gets to Ryoichi here, and he gets to talk to him and basically say, oh yeah, I'm time traveling, by the way. And I thought that was cool. I didn't know how you were going to play that, but I'm hoping for more as we get going, and we see different characters that they get to say.
They each have their own, because when they meet Sly and the gang, they're like, who the heck are you, you know? Yeah. So, and we enjoy playing that up, and it's always different, and the circumstances always, change, so.
At NoName017 tweets, was co-op ever considered to be in the game?
Well, I think that it kind of speaks to Sly Cooper, and and continuing the experience and making sure that we're staying true to it and evolving it. And what we kind of realized was that, okay, if you made that game, that would be a different game.
Yeah.
That would fundamentally kind of sort of send you off in a different direction. And so there were aspects of the game that were like, okay, we want to kind of let people play together. But it was a conscious decision to sort of say, no, we want to make sure that you're still that sneaking, stealthy character, and remaining kind of true to that.
I mean, since it's the rebirth of the franchise, we don't want to change the formula really drastic. It's like, oh, here's Sly Cooper and he's got a gun and it's multiplayer. It wouldn't be Sly Cooper.
I like that if it changed drastically, you become a redneck. I like this alternate timeline.
But, it wouldn't be what people had expected. So, hey, stop laughing over that. So,
You all watch this.
I would say,
Hey, I'll get that Bentley over here.
If we were to do, another Sly Cooper game or something, I think we'd push it a little further.
Interesting.
Yeah. Evolution.
Well, and I have to imagine there's got to be something to, like I guess what you're saying, right? Like getting your feet under you is what your vision of the franchise is, right? And then you get to kind of grow on it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be the people who come out and like,
it's like what they do to it.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't want to be those people.
Exactly.
Sushi shop.
I mean, it'd be all crazy. We don't want no co-op Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper, developed in Kentucky. So here we go. So as you play, you're unlocking more and more stuff that you can go buy then to augment your characters.
Yeah. So the way everything gets unlocked here is by completing the jobs.
Now, what would you say? I mean, percentage-wise, are you playing as Sly? Is it like 50% Sly of the game and then 20%?
Yeah, that's a good question. So from the old games, we actually went through all the games. We had this big Excel sheet that lists out all the jobs and then the percentage of how much you play as Sly, how much you play as the other characters, and we took that percentage, into Thieves in Time. Most people, I think, like playing as Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
But now we have the Ancestors, so people are going to want to play as the Ancestors too. They play, similarly. So, I'd say, like 65% Sly, and then everything's broken up with the other characters.
Because see, that was when I was playing through the preview build, I was just pouring everything into Sly, all my upgrades.
Yeah.
When I get to be Murray, then I'll worry about what Murray's
right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we have 1 hour left. We are giving away plenty of t-shirts, coffee mugs, the Sly Collection, and Sly Cooper Thieves in Times. All you have to do, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, with questions for Matt, for Glenn, for Greg. No, don't ask me questions. And then maybe you win stuff, maybe you don't. We got a question here. This one comes from H.R. Olson. Is there any plans, should have been are there any plans, for a collector's edition / official soundtrack to the game? The music is, as always, fantastic.
Yeah, the music's great. I don't think so right now. I don't think, unfortunately there's not a collector's edition, but maybe you could buy two and combine them.
Sure.
It's kind of like,
then it's a double disc. Just tweet at PlayStation, let them know you'd like an official soundtrack. Don't be a jerk about it, but I mean, hey. if you are outspoken about it, they'll put it on the store. They try. At Tay Fallen One, why go the time travel route for this iteration of the franchise? Was this your way to pay homage to the other games?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of Sly 3, the last thing you see is Bentley building the time machine. So, there's a lot of things that get left open at the end of the third game, and, like I said before, we want it to feel, you want the continuity from the first
Part of the
game.
timeline, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, H.R. Olson, you asked about the soundtrack, about the game having a collector's edition. You also win Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Congratulations, you get the PS3 version of the game, which comes with the Vita version, cross-buy, they call it. Congratulations.
All right, so here we have Ryoichi's Sushi Shop, so we need to reclaim this.
How are we going to do that?
So Sly's going to do a little distraction here.
Dismissed.
And this is the first time we'll be playing as Ryoichi Cooper.
Now, will he have his own special abilities? Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, each of them have their own special abilities. They have their own combos. You can do a combo by hitting square triangle. And then they also have their own charge moves. So if you're holding down triangle and you release it, you'll get a unique charge move from that particular character.
Now, is it, I know you've been very clear. If it's fun, it happens. There is no template. Is it like one main mission for each ancestor, or is it?
It varies. It all varies.
Keep it on your toes, ladies.
One thing we do change some of the moves with some of the characters. So Ryuichi has the combo. You can hit the square triangle and you do the charge move. But we've changed a couple other little things with the characters that make them slightly different. So if you know with Sly Cooper, or, Murray or Bentley, if you're holding down R1 and you're sprinting, you alert people. Ryuichi doesn't do that.
Gotcha.
And
he's a master ninja.
He's a master ninja, and when you hold down R1, you get like kind of a little effect that comes off him, and he's a little bit more quiet. Now, when you're playing as Sir Galeth, if you double tap R1, he pulls out his lance, and he'll have like a charging run. So there's a couple different things that are different between each ancestor, and we don't always explicitly tell you what those are, and they're more fun just to find out.
Was that kind of stuff easy to come up with as you're picking the ancestor?
No, we went through a lot of them, and like Glenn said, if it's fun, we'll move forward with it. One of the things at Sanzaro, we don't have a huge 500-page design document for the game. We outline the game, we slowly kind of fill it in, on a wiki. It's constantly changing, and we try to get the gameplay up on screen as fast as possible. Because what's really going to answer if something's fun is getting it on the screen, playing it.
Yeah.
So some of those things just come out of experimenting, and if it's fun, we'll use it.
There's his effect, right?
Yep. It'd be cool if Sly could buy that move.
Maybe through that upgrade system, the Thief Net, I believe it's called, with all the coins you're finding. Wow. So was it? You're talking about like specific moves and everything else. It's so many iterations to go through. Is there just a giant committee that sits around, or is it like how does that work?
We have a meeting.
Yeah, you're all with your stogies, your hooded.
No, the way we
I forward that we.
Oh yeah, there's a mask up there too, but every week we'll have a review meeting. For half an hour or whatever. We all sit in a room, and sometimes we'll get some random person that's not necessarily playing the game all the time. To play the game, and we all just sit and watch, and then we get their comments. So the best feedback is going to come from gameplay tests and getting people that aren't necessarily playing the game all the time to play the game, see what works, what doesn't work, and what's fun and what's not. So
when you guys were in the heart of development, how many were you bringing in? Lots of playtesters? Because it seems like that's got to be one of the hardest things about developing a game, right? Is that you basically go media blackout. You go underwater and you work and work and work for months and months and months. And while you're knee deep in it, what might seem obvious to you isn't obvious to a real player when you surface, right?
We have that thing from Men in Black.
Neuralizer?
Yeah.
Do the combo. Do his combo. He's got these shurikens. Pretty cool. Nice. But during that portion of the game, when the game is that much solidified that you can actually play through it, the great thing about working with Sony is they're really big on focus tests, and we did a lot of focus tests on Sly Cooper. And we'll sit down, they'll play through the game and answer questions and whatnot, and we just jot things down. And there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh, they're gonna love this. They're totally gonna love this. This is gonna be great. And then I'm like, oh my God, he totally doesn't get it, and they're just stuck.
Yeah.
And then the portion that I thought was, I'm like, I can't believe we're showing this. This needs a lot more work. They're like, that was fantastic. I'm like, oh. So you really never know.
I don't understand my audience.
But you go through enough of those, and you go through enough refinement with the play tests, at the studio, and the play tests at Sony, and you just refine the product as much as possible. Okay.
You have to get it to a point where it's understandable. You're doing the right messaging, and that people can actually discern what it is that you're trying to get them to do. And then once you're there, you can put it in front of people and then fine tune it. So we don't sort of go in and like, here's a box and another box, and the other box will bump into the other box, and something will happen. We have to get it to a point that we're making sure we're getting across what we intended to.
Yeah,
And then go
I
from
think
there.
the biggest thing iteration-wise is messaging. You know, there's a lot of times when, you know, someone didn't know to use the costume or they didn't know where to go. I mean, that was one of the reasons we added the map.
Right.
You know, because, you know, since the environments were that much larger, people just had a very difficult time, you know, getting through the space.
Sure.
So we added all these things to aid you. You can turn off the compass and, you know, if you're that kind of player and you want to play hardcore, you could turn that stuff off. But by default, it's all there because, you know, the number one thing is just for people to sit down and enjoy it and get through the game.
Right. Be able to play your game is usually helpful.
Yes. Come on, Glenn.
See, your messaging was all wrong there, Glenn.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. I can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have about an hour left, 50 minutes here of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper with your question. The developers answer it live while they play their own game. Maybe you win stuff. We have one here from Koa Lornan97. Why did you not make Sly 4 with the comic book style? A lot of fans thought it was a trademark. Awesome graphics, though.
I just think it's the, you know, it's the evolution of what you would expect on the PlayStation 3. You know, if you looked at the games side by side, they look very different.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, so we wanted to make sure, you know, we took full advantage of, you know, of what we had from the hardware.
Right. HD era now, you know what I mean? Sly Cooper's been going
era.
on a long time.
So this is an example of how, you know, like, we taught how to use Ryoichi's special move, and then progressively we'll give more and more difficult challenges to the player, and you will see me fall down more often.
No, that's just because he's not very, no.
All right, remember, be part of the show, at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. iZalman tweets, you've had a lot of time to polish. What parts of the game do you think benefited the most? The graphics?
Gameplay.
Gameplay,
Yeah. You can take that guy out. The other thing, like, we've been done with the game since September, you know, so it's not like we're sitting there and using the extra time to, you know, we're on to other things now, you know, and so, you know, we did have a lot of time to polish the game. I'm really happy with it. You know, sure, there's things I'd like to go back and redo, you know, but, and don't forget there's a mask on the left in there.
Playing with your little brother.
And,
Where is it again?
Up there, up there.
No, jeez.
Koalora97, you've won a copy of the Sly Collection. Congratulations. Play it in good health.
Something else that people may not know is, you know, all the screenshots that are released, you know, a lot of the movies, most of the movies, and even the cover here has all gone through Sanzaro. So we sit there, I'll sit there for hours with Bill Spence, you know, and we will just be taking screenshots. We'll take 200 and then we'll pick 2. So it's not like everything, you know, goes into some ether and all of a sudden we want to be a part of everything. If there's any exposure to the game or, you know, anything that's released, we want to be a part of it.
Well, you were talking at lunch, right? You read everything people say
Everything.
about your game.
I read every single comment. I'm on the Sucker Punch forums. I'm on Facebook. I'm on, you know, NeoGAF, everything. You know, reading that stuff because just like the playthroughs, you know, if there's a new screenshot or a new gameplay video, I want to read it.
Yeah.
If something doesn't look right, it doesn't feel like, you know, what people would expect, then, you know, we need to go and reevaluate it. So.
Doesn't that make you insane, though?
My wife says
Isn't
that. I'm crazy. Yeah.
You heard his cowboy voice.
And my Bentley voice. No, okay. Carmelita?
I do not know.
See? That's good. No, that's good. That's good. That's more Dimitri, I think.
Yeah. We actually record all the voices that are going to go in, especially in the Benaki-Com sequences at the studio, and at the studio before we head out to LA to do the real actors and actresses. So it's kind of funny to hear them in place. And there are some people you listen to it and you'd be like,
you still hear the old person.
yeah, is that Danny Carp? Did we not switch that sound out? Because it's totally. Sometimes they're on it. Other times you're like, oh, thank goodness we got rid of that.
Do the real voice actors ever hear the impersonators?
Oh yeah, it was so funny when Matt Olson got to hear.
He liked it. He's like, that's a pretty good Bentley. Who did that? And I'm like sitting there like, oh god.
He's like, don't even take my job. Yeah, Matt was very involved in the production of the game, and got him involved in the script as well. Just sort of, you know, he'd been there for the whole sequence as well, and getting him to kind of help us out on making sure we're staying, you know, true to the universe kind of thing.
But like to animate and set up all of these cinematics, it's a lot of work. So, you know, we really want to ensure before we spend all this time, you know, working on these cinematics in the game, that it works together continuity-wise and so forth. So, you know, we'll do the rough storyboard sketches, and then we'll do the VO in-house, and then we'll set them up where they would be so the story flows together. And then, you know, from there we'll make some adjustments and changes, and before we, you know, start doing the final cinematic.
Nice.
Of course, afterwards we change it all. And then off we go back to LA to go redo it all.
That has happened.
Here we go with another crazy mini game.
Yeah, this one's fun. This is kind of like a, you know, like a sidearms, you know, like old Capcom sidearms, or you know, Contra style.
How many of these ended up on the cutting room floor? Did you just have, I mean, you just go back to old NES games and stuff? And you're like, oh, yeah,
well, we just, you know, again, it was what was fun, you know, and then each of the mini games are really varied. They're very different. You know, you saw the System Cracker one, which, you know, it's a top-down, you know, almost tank Tron style, you know, arcade game, whereas this is a shooter. So we try to make them as different as possible. So in this one, you have these little bits, these little stars, and as you collect these, they'll level up. And so you'll get better weapons as you collect more of these, but if you get damaged, you get downgraded a level.
Gotcha. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper with your questions, comments, concerns about Thieves in Time. Developers answer them. Maybe you win some stuff. At Dimitri Jean tweets, previous Sly games have been a little light on challenge. Have you made Thieves in Time a more difficult than previous installments?
I'd say it's more, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's more difficult and definitely longer than the previous games.
Do you think that's kind of just, you know, the evolution of Sly, the evolution of gaming?
Yeah, I think it's the evolution of gaming and, you know, what people would expect from a Sly Cooper game now.
Yeah,
so.
From a full price $60 Blu-ray disc of Sly Cooper.
And, you know, like I said at lunch, like that's something we think about is that value. You know, it's $60 purchase. So, you know, the game is really long. It's much longer than the old games. There's a lot of collectibles, a lot of unlocking, a lot more backtracking. So like when you get a costume in another time period, you can do the Metroidvania stuff and you know, go back and unlock places that you couldn't get to before. Nice. So I think it's a pretty good value. And plus you get the Vita.
Cross-buy, they call it. That PlayStation Vita.
They.
Yo, the
kids.
So, but these have been really, the mini games in general have been really popular. You know, in all the focus tests and, you know, just around the office, these have been always gone over very well.
How big is Sansaro nowadays?
About 40 items.
Yeah. It's interesting when we put together the credits list, you know, which we do some fun stuff with the credits. But I look at the size of the studio, you know, versus, you know, a big budget like Assassin's Creed game.
Well, you're not spread across 7 continents.
and I'm like, holy, you know, we really did good.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really happy with where we are with the game, where we are as a studio. You know, I look forward to what we're doing next. Which is surprises. But yeah, I mean, it's something that we should all be pretty proud of.
Oh, no, totally.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all the mini games. I've already said that though. So I'll be quiet now. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, be part of the show. Maybe win some fabulous prizes.
What was the evolution of Alter Ego?
Well, that's what Bentley would. If Bentley was going to think of himself in the video game world, he would look like Alter Ego Bentley, hence the name. So
he's like Bentley Rambo kind of vibe.
Oh, there's a mask behind you. So.
I know.
I should know. I placed all these.
You should contribute to IGN's wiki then for Sly Cooper Thieves in Time when the time comes around.
You got some cash?
No, that's not how it works. Maybe you can win a copy of the game.
So. This is Jeremy's favorite level.
Who's Jeremy?
I think he's an artist. He worked on the fishing caves here for quite some time. I always joke that I wanted to get him a shirt that says like, I worked on fishing caves 2010 to...
A lot of iteration.
Yeah.
And some things work, some things don't.
Sure,
so
yeah.
you make changes as you go along.
So how do you guys then as a studio handle stuff like this? Is it people are assigned certain levels, certain sections? And,
yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes we'll switch them out too, you know, like someone may work on this episode and, you know, it's like a lot, I've worked on multiple episodes, you know, I worked on a lot of Japan, I was in Paris, and, you know, we kind of shift people around.
Hold up, Murray. Those mammoth lightning bugs will give you a nasty shock. Lucky for us, that large plant is a giant lamp leaf.
A giant lamp
It will
leaf.
make it glow and attract the
That'd be
bugs.
a pretty good one.
Give it a whack and get those things out of our way.
Awesome! You know how much I like to hit stuff!
I love the caustics and stuff in here.
You know how I love it.
So again, like in here, you know, the lighting is very different, the environment's really different. And not only from episode to episode, you know, we have that contrast, but also, you know, within, you know, each episode, they have their own locations that are, you know, that are just really different.
So now, when you're working on Sly Cooper, using time, back in the day, and it's been a while now, are you, I mean, how much do you look at other games and for inspiration for
All
things
the
like that?
time.
Yeah?
All the time. I mean, you know, the whole studio, we're really gamers. You know, you know, I go home, I'm not necessarily watching TV all the time. I'm going home, I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
You know, we're always gaming, we're always playing games. You know, we'll, you know, come back, you know, we're very open for feedback. So it's like, hey, I played this game, I really like this feature, you know, maybe this is something we can incorporate for, you know, Mission X or whatever, so we'll take a look at it.
I didn't know if it was one of those things where you like to black out, you know what I mean, and not in blinders on, kind of like if I'm reviewing what's this, what is happening.
So here we're doing this fishing mini game, so Ryuichi needs some fish. So he gets his fish from this particular pond.
Okay.
So Murray and Bentley have gone off to get the fish for Ryuichi.
This is a 6-axis minigame.
Yep.
I just need to tilt like this to move it around.
But again, it was one of those ones like, hey, is it fun? Is it kind of this relaxing, zen-like experience to sort of flow around in the water?
Yeah, is it flower or is it layer? Let's figure out.
It's not layer. It's not layer.
Remember, be part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Maybe you win some stuff. Maybe your question gets read on the air. Just like Suicide Skater's question is getting read on the air. Are there many vehicles to use, or is it more in terms of hands-on with individual character skills?
There is vehicles. We'll see one coming up soon. And we have a number of, you know, couple different vehicles to play as.
Yeah, scrumptious long-nosed snorkeler.
You're almost there. Keep it up.
Yep, a delectable spotted snake mouth.
You did good there.
Okay, Murray, take that fish to the cart.
See, I'm such a Bentley fan, I don't like talking when he talks. I just want to hear.
Bentley's great.
Do you have a favorite character, I guess? Sly's a cop-out, but you can say Sly. Bentley's the right answer, obviously.
An ancestor that we have not shown yet.
Ooh.
That's kind of the way it sort of evolved, you know, like every time we had a new ancestor incorporated into the game, you know, and they had a new mechanic, it would just become your favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, probably, yeah, an ancestor that we haven't seen yet, and you know, the regular roster. I mean, I really like Sly, probably my favorite.
Now you were talking at lunch, you know, when I first, and this is a long time ago now, when I first came down and met you guys, I don't even know if you hadn't shown the game yet. We knew it was coming.
No, you were the first person that actually saw the game.
And I got this. I remember I walked over and like you guys were still animating the El Jefe fight.
Yeah, and he had the crazy. He had the cigar was all crazy and stuff. I was like, oh, I feel horrible.
But even I remember.
But even then,
you were talking about Sly. We talked about a bit at lunch about how Sly looks now and stuff, and how his evolution kind of went. When you started with him, you were trying to make him not darker like Batman evil, or not evil, but like tortured soul dark. But you know what I mean? Like, I remember you guys were making a point to say, years have passed and he's a little bit older and stuff, and now he's kind of more like just in the HD version of Sly and stuff.
Yeah.
What was that transition and I guess that like growth for, or like for you guys? How did we end up here?
The character modeler that did, first of all, John Hayes, the modeler. I told you, John, I call you out. He is an amazing modeler. He also did all the Maximo stuff.
Maximo?
Yeah, top notch. But
that was a great pre-order. If you pre-order Maximo, remember from games.
You get the underwear.
Back. You got the underwear back. That was it.
But but we did E3 2011, and we showed the El Jefe boss fight, and Sly definitely the model needed a lot more work. Some of the lighting was a little bit off, and when we showed it, a lot of people had commented on it. And like I said, I read all the comments, read all the stuff. We went back and kind of reevaluated a lot of that and literally redid the model. So, the refinement of the characters, it just takes a lot of time. There's nothing is ever done in games. I'm not even done with this game. If I had another 2 years, I'd still be working on it.
Sure.
But, the models just, get refined over time, so.
Interesting. Remember, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. You get to be part of the show. Just like our old friend Sanzaru Rocks, he tweets, I noticed that the characters talk 10 times more than they did in previous games. Why is that? Did you guys want to focus on developing characters?
I think they talk about the same.
Yeah, I think it's about the same, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk.
Sanzaru Rocks, delete your Twitter account.
No, there's always a lot of dialogue, between the characters and a lot of personality growth and so forth. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that's one of the things that drew us to the series in the first place. Just the characters and their stories and who they are and how
playing
they
for a minute.
And I think that with the PlayStation 3, we were able to do a lot more, and maybe so it feels like they're more cinematic, when they're discussing and things like that. But we don't want it to get in the way of actually. Oh, poor piggies.
They did nothing to you.
To sort of.
But it's
so
on that.
So here I'm back with Ryuichi in the hub. So like you can only get to this with Ryo.
Metroidvania.
Yeah. So there's it's not only with the costumes, but it's also with the characters that you unlock.
And I'm assuming this is key to finding bottles and everything else and getting all my trophies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I won't waste time looking for them all then until I have everybody unlocked. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be part of the show, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Maybe you win stuff, just like Sanzaru Rocks just won a collection, Sly collection that's over here. You will get this along with some awesome swag that will just be put in at random. So you may not get the cup. Don't tweet at us angrily when you don't get the cup and you just get shirts. You won a game. Be happy.
So this is kind of an example of like how we experience the game, and so how we see people playing it. Is you'd be running around and you'd have a mission like that, then all of a sudden you'd see something like, ooh, there's a mask over there.
Right.
Ooh, there's a bottle over there. And then you'll start doing that part of it, and then you'll kind of get engrossed in that, and then all of a sudden you'll go, oh yeah, there was something I was going to do.
Exactly.
And then you'll click the compass, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I was going to do that, and then you'll kind of get back on track, but then you'll see another bottle or another, and off you go again. So there's really just a lot of layered in gameplay. That is a very interesting door.
I should probably go back there with Sly's costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have it where you could only get the treasures if you started to collect a treasure, it would cancel you out of the current job, and we focus tested that, and a lot of people didn't like it. They wanted to just, if I'm on a job, who cares?
Yeah, if I get sidetracked, I get sidetracked.
Just go get the treasure. So we changed it to that. That's just an example of the type of feedback we get from people and the changes that we'll do. We don't come in the box with the game. People are buying the game, and we want to make it as fun as possible. So.
Yeah, it's funny when you bring Ryuichi's experience and abilities into into the hub world, then all of a sudden you can get to all kinds of places, and that really kind of evolved the gameplay there, where we're like, oh wow, now you could do a jump, and then we could put something up there, and it sort of expands the space as you're working with them.
That's cool.
There's a surprise in this cinematic, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna look at it or.
Go ahead and look at it.
You can track his eyes.
Somebody at home right now trying to match it up, trying to figure out exactly what it is.
Okay.
Maybe somebody will, do one of those paint overs.
There it is.
Nicely done.
Do you know what a reference? Do you know what that reference was, ladies and gentlemen? Tweet at IGN #SlyCooper. Let us know. Maybe get your answer right on the air. Maybe win something. Maybe not.
I'm not going to answer anything.
Not going to answer anything.
Not about that.
Okay. Here's a question for you, and it's we've talked about your games long enough. All right, we've been going for an hour and a half now. Meaning there's half an hour left to this live stream. Keep watching. What did you think of Sly Cooper's appearance in PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale? Did you get to play as him? Did you get to see him? What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I would have to say I was super busy and I haven't played it enough, but I do have it sitting on my desk right there.
Well, that was they took our model from a while ago, so we played it. We played it at E3. We're playing it now, so I like seeing him in there. I like the costumes. They used a lot of the costumes that we had in Thieves in Time, like the Archer costume, and what else is in there? There was another one.
The barrel. He dropped himself into a barrel
stuff.
at one point. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun.
Okay. And it's one of those I know that like you're talking about how Paris is so iconic with Sly to have that be his level too and stuff. Interesting stuff, and I don't know how much they came to talk to you. Those super gentlemen.
It was a lot about the the character model, and some of the 2D art
and the rendering style too. We went kind of back and forth on how to represent him, in the game. And it's tricky for them because they're rationalizing a lot of different things.
Yeah, their games plays a bit differently than yours. Was that weird? I mean, that's kind of role reversal, right?
It is weird.
That's kind of like that. Man, we are in charge of Sly Cooper now.
Yeah, it is weird. But they used, I think, in All Stars, you have like the clock that you throw out, the little time clock. Okay. For which they hadn't in like Sly 2, so we don't necessarily have that move. We have some new gadgets, but they pick different things than we did. Okay. So I will say with that game, like the ending stuff and like the homage to some of their other PlayStation characters, right. Like you have like Polygon Man in there and a lot of characters that you don't necessarily see that much, and I love that kind of stuff. There could be cameos in here, or we just love the PlayStation world. So.
Yeah.
It's a great universe to play in.
Remember, be part of the show. Tweet at IGN #SlyCooper with something about Sly Cooper. Let's see what we read here. Here's one for you. This is a slam dunk, an easy one. You can knock it out of the park. Rag Havoc 99. Everyone is wondering, will there be cell shading in the Vita version?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks just like this. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. It's crossed by. It's the same game. Pop pop.
And then go across.
Shared trophy lists. No double pops if you're joining us late. Matt hates me.
Double pops, I like that. Double pops and rogue demos.
We're gonna go do a rogue demo.
If you hang out with me long enough, I will make up plenty of words for you. At Notice Me Sly, will Sly's mom or dad be included in the game?
That is a very good question.
A very good question.
That I will not answer.
Tug at some heartstrings here.
Yeah. I'll say it's like a character though. Sly Cooper himself, his personality is very similar to like Batman or Lupin, and if Batman went back in time and fixed what had happened to his parents, would he be Batman? No. So.
Sly's a bit happier than Batman. Sly's like Batman pre-crisis Batman maybe, or when he was hanging out with Justice League International. Not so much like the Scott Snyder Batman we have nowadays. And just for if you've been joining us late, Zaldivar Lily tweets in all caps "clockwork" and then 5 exclamation points. So there you go. That's the caliber of tweet that's being read on this show now.
Nice.
So tweet at IGN #SlyCooper with a question or a comment for the folks here behind Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Maybe you win Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Maybe you win the Sly Collection. Maybe you win a beautiful T-shirt.
Never gonna make it through here again.
So now we've talked about the game is longer. It's more of what you detect. What do you peg a playthrough of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time at? Is that impossible to say since everybody's doing different things?
Well, I mean, there's we look at like the story mode as a playthrough. You know, just hey, I'm just going to play through and uncover what's happening in the game. But then there's like a full playthrough where
sure, like 100%ing.
Yeah,
100%ing is going to take some time.
Yeah, like a long time.
Yeah, I feel bad for some of the testers sometimes having to go through these things.
Because to do a whole cycle on it was just huge. It's like several days.
Yeah, I don't know an exact number. I'll say it's longer than the older games. And for 100%, it definitely takes a lot of time.
That's why the cross-buy is so important. Kick your slave to the cloud, put it on the go,
and keep going.
You get to play on the couch. You got to go to the Grand Canyon. You get to play in the car.
So what's this one? Spark Runner?
I think it's for a Spark Runner.
This is another Bentley one.
Yeah. This one's fun.
These are my favorite. Oh, okay, I see what we're doing here.
A little marble mat.
Exactly. You're on platinum pace, as I call it. You're getting every collectible, doing everything you have to do. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, less than 30 minutes left now. We are still giving away copies of the Sly Collection and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. If you'd like to win one, you need to tweet at IGN, #SlyCooper. We read your question on the air. Then Eric from downstairs on the social team tells me if you won or not. Being red does not mean you won. So don't tweet me later about it. But follow me at GameOverGreg.
I thought you were going to go off there.
He's too good for that. He's too good for
but
that.
yeah, you have, remember you have the arcade, in the hideout. So
is that where games like this go?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
It'd be a good place for them.
Yeah, it seems like they would fit in really well there.
Or if you could play with other people on there.
Yeah.
2-player would be fun.
You have lots of interesting ideas. Oh, I should make games. At Top Gunner 41 says, will the Panda King or Dimitri make an appearance or be playable?
Dimitri definitely makes an appearance. I won't say playable or not. And no Panda King.
No Panda King.
Sorry. But we have all these new characters, so.
We only want the old stuff.
Something also with the ancestors, we didn't want the experience to just become, this sort of endless series of tutorials. Sure. Where you would have, okay, I've got a new ancestor, he's got a new ability, and I'm going to spend 30 minutes teaching you how to play the game with this new character, essentially. So we really tried to make them take Sly, expand on him a little bit, and then add a pen to that. So you can pick up and run around as Ryuichi, but then you get to experience a little bit more in a direction that maybe Sly didn't go before, and that was really the approach there, because we don't want to spend a lot of time teaching you. We want you to just have fun with it.
Right. Yeah. So that's what Sly's all about.
Murray-san, please be careful. That cable looks rather delicate.
Have no fear, the Murray is here.
Okay, Murray, it looks like we're going to have to try out your disguise a bit earlier than expected. I hope you remember.
See, that's what I said. I stopped before you. You didn't give me trophies. I didn't know we're going to get Murray as a geisha here.
So other characters will, throughout missions, get in costumes.
Yeah.
And after the costume, they'll be in that costume for the rest of the episode.
Nice.
Famous Madam Geisha, please allow me to entertain you.
I think this whole chunk of gameplay came out of this picture that we had. It's,
with you dancing at the sushi bar at the...
Yeah, that picture.
Was it that? No?
I was very elegant. I thought that really suited my my outfit.
Yeah, as if I needed another reason to love this game.
Yeah, doing the voiceover for this was very funny. I think it took like 4 or 5 takes because we kept on laughing too much.
Like the PS2 classic Britney's Dance Beat.
Brittany's that game was horrible. Remember when we had Murray come to the office?
Oh yeah, we had him announce over the PA. We have like this obnoxious PA that we use every now and then for stuff.
Yeah.
And he came on to invite everybody to lunch.
Was he like not expecting to be there that day?
No, nobody knew.
But it was awesome. You're sitting there working, and all of a sudden, the Murray is talking to you over the mic. It was funny.
You guys seem like a fun studio. Let's see what we got here. Well, Top Gunner 41, you have won a copy of the Sly Collection, I've been informed. Congratulations. Look for that in the mail soon. At Colin_Z tweets at IGN, #SlyCooper, just like you can at home to be part of the show. He says, after beating the game, will you get harder tasks, ridiculous bosses, or a harder difficulty of the campaign?
There are definitely layers of more difficult challenges inside the game. It's not, but it's one of those things that's layered into the game experience as you go forward. We're not like, okay, you played through it once, okay, now I'm gonna say, play through the whole thing again, except now you only have one arm. Yeah, so again, it's continually layered in, and you can take those on if you want to, or you can stick to some of the easier stuff.
I just want to point out how great it would be for anyone who's tuned into this live stream in the past like minute. Just pop up and there's just this crazy.
Oh my God! It's a geisha hippo.
This is the game I've been waiting for. Let's see what we got here. Okay, at Airsoft King 253 tweets at IGN, #SlyCooper. Is there anything unlocked when you get 100% complete in the game? You guys are known for hiding things in your games, such as in the Sly Collection, when you hid the Sly Cooper 4, now Sly Cooper Thieves.
3 days it took.
3 days is all it took for you guys to find them.
So,
well, you know, if somebody did that, I don't know anything about it.
I might have put something in.
Yeah, but he didn't tell me about it or anything like that.
No, of course not. Now it's a race to see who can 100% the team first.
It's not bound to 100%.
Oh, good. Thank you. You can tell me before you leave. Make sure you get it.
But I am, you know, after the collection thing,
yeah.
I wanted to make sure that the little nuggets of secret stuff that we have in there are much more difficult to get.
You learned some lessons.
Yes.
You say.
Yeah, he was like, you were saying.
No, I said a week or two.
I don't know. I think we got it somewhere on.
It was 3 days.
It's an Excel spreadsheet, man.
Yeah.
It's all listed. Everybody's bet.
I think it took 3 days for Sly Collection. But you know, we have a lot of surprises, not only with Thieves in Time, but we have some stuff coming up that is some good surprises.
That's what they call a tease in the industry. Matt Kraemer keeping you on your toes. At Austin Level 159, will there be side quests detailing ancestors' past big jobs? Maybe some backstory?
No.
We're focused on the moment, right? What's happening? Yeah. Trying to fix time so everyone isn't erased.
There is a talk about like what is to come to that particular ancestor because you know there's mention of it in history from past games, but you never out doing those particular tasks.
Gotcha. See, this is the kind of game, I know you're talking about, you know, that you want to be true to the continuity and everything else. I would be so concerned about screwing something up. Just like a little thing, I say something and then it turned out that...
It is. That's why when we go to E3 and stuff, or like even here, and people are like, oh, this is so cool. Like, this is totally... It just validates it, you know? And that is the best thing that we can have. I mean, I love these kind of games. I want to play more games like this. And, oh, this is a great job. He is so much fun. Bentley is so much fun to play as.
He's just fun to drive as.
Yeah. It'd be cool if he had like spinners on those wheels or something.
Oops. Not your stealthiest move.
Yeah.
But he's not a trained thief, don't worry. Stay in the van. Austin Level 159, good news, you have won a copy of the Sly Collection. We will be tweeting at you, getting your details, sending it off to you soon. If you would like to win one, ladies and gentlemen, tweet at IGN, #SlyCooper, ask a question, get it read on the air. Maybe you win stuff, maybe you don't. You get to be internet famous for a second.
This is a great cinematic here. This is an Alex Omlansky special. A great animator. He did all this.
Okay, According to
My calculations. This is the optimal location to launch the RC car.
With the miniature microphone I installed, it should be
So Sly's got costumes, you know, characters are getting costumes. Why not have an RC car with a costume?
About time.
With a Bach button.
Bach.
Looks like he's headed for the prison. Time to get rolling.
He's twice as expressive. He's got more arms.
I subtract that tiger. Larry's old chicken hat is going to come in handy too. I just need to remember to press the L2 button to enable the
So when you switch into the costume in the car, it drives slower. And you have the Bach button, so you're undercover as a chicken.
Nice.
Oh boy. I'm gonna have to play this, aren't I?
Jenna C. Wood tweets at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, who is the hardest character to write dialogue for?
That's a good one.
Good job, Jenna.
Anything between Sly and Carmelita.
Yeah, I think that's the relationship that was that we most wanted to get right.
Yeah.
And their interaction was something that we really iterated on. And just getting them, you know, in the studio and recording it, we wanted to really make sure that we got that balance. I think
We want that chemistry too.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as much as Sly Cooper is, you know, this fun game with all this gameplay variety, it's a lot about, you know, it's almost a soap opera too. You know, there's a lot of love interest changes, and you know, you're gonna meet ancestors that really like Carmelita, and there's, you know, there's a little bit of jealousy there.
Yeah.
And you know, to get the emotion between all the characters, and you know, it takes time. You know, it's writing and animation and really good dialogue. The other thing with the characters is every character kind of has a area in the game where it's more revolved around them. So you may have an episode that's more about Bentley and Bentley's emotions and who he is. You might have an episode that's more about Murray, and you know.
Yeah, and they'll have their arc. You know, they'll go through that experience, and they'll move and evolve as a character throughout this game. And yeah, that's definitely something. And that kind of chemistry also, you know, grew in the studio. A lot of times we'd make sure that we could book things, so we got the actors and actresses, you know, in there together, and just see how that worked, and then we would literally make changes on the fly while we were sitting there.
Yeah, is it one of those things where when they're together, are you giving them the latitude to ad-lib or something along those lines?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Totally. And like, you know, like Kevin and Matt working together, like doing the VO in the room together, kind of ad-libbing back and forth works really well.
Yeah.
You know, works better than just one of them in there. So, you know, that was something that we saw, and we were like, hey, this works really well. You know, we might as well have it like this for every session. So it's different for different, you know, VO actors.
At Average Charles tweets at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, just like you can, be part of the show. He says, does this game kick off any subplots or devices that will continue into later games, like an overarching plot? I can't think of a Sly Cooper that ended conclusively.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes, and yes.
Well, there you go, Average Charles.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of a hallmark for the franchise, right? I mean, always having that story keep going. Even Sly, we talk about Sly 3, right? Sly 3 ends with them working on this time machine. And granted, it wasn't touched for another 7 years, but...
I hope we don't wait that long. This is a great cinematic.
Now I just need to find that blasted Ryoichi.
So we're still in episode 1.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the game is pretty long.
Yeah. And we still got a ways to go.
Do you want to say how many episodes there are? Is that another one you're keeping on your hat? Look at you, with this hat full of secrets. No, it's not a literal hat full of secrets.
Konnichiwa, Hefe-san.
Greetings, Madam Geisha.
We had a lot of trouble recording. We laughed so much.
You playing? Go, Alex. Animators having fun.
Smashman 4 says, are there a good amount of side missions for each character?
We don't necessarily have side missions. You know, you have
it's all part of the same story,
it's
right?
part of the same story, but you have a lot of different optional things that you can do. You know, the treasure runs, the bottles, and the masks.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, and especially in the hub world.
And the stuff you unlock in the hideout.
Yeah, that you won't talk about.
Yeah.
There's your costume stuff.
Hello.
Oh, arm on the controller.
Play tennis later. Tennis is pretty fun though.
Maybe you should go and grab some treasure.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. An aspect of the game that I don't think has been seen before.
No, I think we've shown them.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't understand how this works, no. It's an exclusive to IGN. Never before seen.
Never before seen.
I think we've
Treasures.
I'm not sure they've seen it on camera.
Remember to be part of the show, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. You have a chance to get on the show, have your question read to the developers, then win some fabulous stuff, including Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Look right here, cross by. Cloud saves. The future is now.
And so every ancestor has their own specific stealth move like that. And that was one of those areas where the animators kind of drive the experience. You know, they sort of like, hey, we can do this. And I think that's, you know, a hallmark of the way that we work, you know, very inclusive kind of thing. We're not sort of top-down group. Lots of different people come up with different ideas, and then we just incorporate them, and if they're fun, you know, then we extrapolate on them and make them even cooler. So.
A good way to live.
Aye.
At Walter Outcast tweets, can you tell us more about Carmelita's gameplay style in Sly Cooper Thieves in Time?
Well, fundamentally, you know, her strength is the shock pistol. And, actually, sorry to interrupt that one, but this is a cool treasure, because this was actually
one of the ones that created
one. Yeah, the competition. I don't know if they were from Scandinavia. The sort of.
I don't remember where that one was from.
Yeah.
So for people at home who have no idea what we're talking about, sorry, you had a competition, right, where fans could design one of the treasures in the game.
Mm-hmm. And so they sent us a picture and then a description about what the treasure was, and then we had a contest, and the winners actually are featured in the game. And so now that treasure, instead of just being sold on ThiefNet, we actually display it on the treasure wall, and there's all kinds of little hidden details about it, and we had a lot of fun with that. That was a really great part of constructing the overarching universe of Sly Cooper and how it all interacted with each other. But again, back to Carmelita, sorry.
No, you're fine, it's your show, you do what you want.
Carmelita, I mean, fundamentally, she's got the shock pistol, and so that's her main strength, and that's kind of, what we built the gameplay around with her. And, that's a different experience from some of the other characters. She's got a little more ability to go head-to-head with some of the bigger
I'll tell you
enemies.
something that we haven't revealed yet. The next game we're working on is... No, just kidding. No, for the first time, Carmelita has stuff to buy and upgrade in ThiefNet. So she'll have her own, slew of stuff to upgrade and purchase. And, we have some pretty cool upgrades for her shock pistol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. True, good point.
He comes through in the clutch.
Yeah.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to our final 7 minutes of the live stream. You've seen 2 hours of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time.
We're not even done with episode 1.
Not even done with episode 1. So there you go. Extrapolate that into how long the game is. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper to be part of the show. Maybe win some fabulous prizes. We have a question here from MK System 74. What is your favorite new addition that you added to the Sly franchise?
You can go first.
Like picking your children, I know.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna go with there's an ancestor that we haven't revealed yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was it was a combination of the ancestors' gameplay ability and their personality. They're just Yeah. I'm sorry. We kind of sound evasive.
When you get there, you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
No, you should be. You know, the whole point is to ruin the game, right? We don't want everybody to know exactly what's going on.
I would just say, like, playing as the ancestors, I mean, you know, being a Sly fan myself, you know, you've read about these characters. They're a staple of all the other, you know, games, you know, from Sly 1 all the way through Sly 3. And now you not only get to read about these characters, you get to meet them, you get to play as them. You know, they have different personalities. So that's really my favorite part of the game.
MK System 74, good news, you've won a copy of the Sly Collection. Right there, 3 games, 1 Blu-ray disc. It came with some PlayStation Move games as well. All great for trophies.
I want to see that platinum. I want to see you platinum this thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I've unlocked 1.
I know. I'm well aware of how many you've unlocked, which is
so far.
Yeah, a bit intimidating to think about.
I want to see a picture.
Okay. Like
but it might be on Colin's machine. I don't know.
Oh. Trash talking.
Well, Colin, I think, is going to be reviewing it, so he has a better excuse for playing it at work. Remember, 5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen, of the Sly Cooper Thieves in Time live stream. Your last chance to see the game, probably, until the demo in January. The game comes out in February. Tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper. Give us a question, give us a comment. Maybe get on the show, maybe win stuff. Here's a question that's getting on the air. Nightmare Luffy tweets, will the ancestors teach Sly their trademark stealth moves for each level for Sly to incorporate in the future?
That's a very good one.
Yeah, that is a really good question.
Seems like something that you could buy in ThiefNet.
Maybe.
Maybe buy some moves there.
I mean, you'll definitely learn something from all the ancestors you meet. Will you necessarily get their signature moves? No. Okay. And the reason that we did that was because Sly has his own new signature moves, Bentley has his own new signature stuff, and Murray and so forth. And if we took all of the moves and things and gave it to Sly, it wouldn't make those ancestors...
Why would you go back and play as those ancestors?
Yeah, it wouldn't make them as special as they were. You know, Sly always has the original move that was taught from that ancestor, but the ancestor has kind of the upgraded version.
Yeah.
I think it, you know, just speaks to the strategy about how you play the game and which characters you choose. You know, you see a clue bottle over there, you go and figure out what the strategy is to overcome it. You know, you're going to be looking around the world, you know, through the binocular, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this to do that. And you get that great sense of achievement when you figure it out.
Ding. You ding, you figure it all, how it all works together.
Ding.
There you go, that's another one for you.
Yeah, ding,
Rogue demos.
Rogue demo.
Rogue demo, I like that one.
Skull. That's some great takeaways.
3 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen, in IGN Sly Cooper Thieves in Time live stream. If you want to be part of it, tweet at IGN, hashtag Sly Cooper, just like Romo Patterson did. Will the main antagonist be someone we recognize or someone all new to the series? Any info on him/her?
I'm not going to answer that.
Of course you aren't. It's a good point. I never thought about it, though. That we really, we haven't figured out why time is disappearing yet, have we? We know Ella Hefe is involved with it. He's obviously just a nobody.
A little minion.
Yeah. Just like Nolan North. I like pickpocketing a lot. I have a feeling I want to do a lot of that.
Oh, you could just spend, like, you know, an entire 2 hours just wandering around in here pickpocketing everybody, going back to ThiefNet.
Yeah, exactly.
Upgrades.
Just continuing to upgrade.
And yeah, before you even get to the story, and we had some focus tests where that's all they did.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Yeah, and we're like, are you not sure what you're supposed to do? No,
we
I
spent
know
a
what to
really
do.
long time making a game. You mind playing that? Not doing that first part. Oh, here we're back to that magical door we saw earlier.
Wow.
Romeo Patterson, good news. You've won a copy of Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. Not available in stores yet, which means not actually available to anyone yet. So it's not coming right now. But when we get closer to the February release date, bam, there goes Steve. You got another treasure there. So you get the treasures, and then the game is running back in time.
Yeah, 7 seconds, 6
without
seconds,
getting damaged.
5 seconds.
Okay.
Ooh.
If you were to fail, you can go back, grab it again. Okay.
Yep. And you can get them with any character. It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Pop in there and have a look at them in the wall.
We only have a little bit of time. I want to start this.
You got 1 minute left, it says. On my phone. I don't know. I don't see anybody moving to come stop me. Usually Caleb's in here yelling at me if it's that time. Alex Solomia is just laughing it up and they're staring at me. He doesn't care. We can go another 4 hours. He doesn't mind.
I'm cool with that. Let's keep going.
Alex did the head exploding. So I don't think
and we may still be only on the first episode.
We have all
Ooh, look
the
at this.
intel we need.
Ah,
Now,
yes.
Hefe has played dictator for the last time, and it's time to bring him down. First, we need to open those dragon gates. Thanks to Ryuichi's special sushi rolls, the guards are out for the count. Sly, you'll need to gain access to the switches in their mouths. Next, we'll need to open the palace sword gate. However, the bridge is crawling with guards, so we'll need to create a diversion. Murray, you, Sly, and myself will need to distract the guards. Once they're occupied, Ryuichi can make his way under the bridge to the switch and open the gate. Once we get that gate open, there's nothing stopping us from taking the palace and putting El Jefe in his place. Viva la revolucion!
So that scene there, kind of the build up to the actual boss battles.
Yeah.
It's the coup de grace for this level, as you'd say.
And that's signature, to the Sly Cooper series is the heist.
Right.
Like it's all this stuff building up to it, bring everything together, bring all the characters together, bring everything that you've learned to take down the guy.
All right. I believe it is time to say goodbye to everyone here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Well, you're still open. You can keep playing. You run through. You can play it when you get back to the office, too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us for this 2-hour live stream. Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. Glenn, Matt, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Demo out in January.
Yep.
Game out in February.
Yep.
What's the actual date on it? February
5th.
5th.
And many surprises, not only coming up soon, but we got a lot of things in store.
Sure.
So.
We haven't heard the last of you guys.
That's right.
Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. Get ready for cross-buy action. And then keep watching IGN for, reviews and stuff. We'll do that. Yeah.